What's up guys, how you all doing? Welcome to another video, and today we're talking once again about the Canon R7. So I released a video a couple of videos ago now where we reviewed the raw files from the R7 that were shared with us by Frono's Photo, Jared Poland, and that video basically seemed to spark one of two outcomes. There wasn't really anything in the middle. Everybody either thought, well, yep, those images are noisy as anything and I am never buying the R7, and the other half of the people seem to think, well, what are you talking about? There's always going to be noise with some crop cameras, so stop moaning, it's going to be great anyway. There didn't seem to be anything in between. But what I did get quite a lot was a lot of people asking, well, why would you buy an R7 if you've already got an R6? And that got me thinking. So that is the question we're going to answer today. Why would you buy an R7 when you could buy an R6? Before we get into the video, I'm going to ask you guys to do all of the usual YouTube stuff for me. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, comment below, hit the notification bell, all that stuff, because it helps my channel to be more successful. That's the honest reason why. Not going to mess you around on that. Let's get into this video. So first of all, I think probably the most important thing is just to touch on my specific reasons why. Well, the first thing to say is I'm not buying the R7 to replace my R6. I'm buying the R7 to go alongside my R6. And most likely in my two camera combo, it probably would replace my 1DX. So it's not like for me, it's a decision of R7 or R6. I'm doing it because I think the two will work alongside each other. But even if there are people out there who don't own an R6 and are literally thinking, should I buy an R7 or should I buy an R6? I think there's still quite a few compelling reasons why people should consider the R7 over the R6, and I'm going to share a few of those with you in this video right now. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is the shutter on the R7 versus the R6. Now the R6 is already lightning quick, 12 frames per second mechanical shutter, 20 frames per second electronic shutter. But you know what? The R7 is even faster. 15 frames per second mechanical shutter, 30 frames per second electronic shutter. That's insane. That is lightning quick. And for sports photographers out there, wildlife photographers, especially bird photographers, I would imagine with this camera, that is going to be fantastic. 30 frames per second electronic shutter. That is really, really quick. And especially you bird photographers out there, that's probably going to be something that's going to have you seriously looking at that camera, even if you were considering the R6. The maximum shutter speed is better as well. The R6 has the mechanical shutter at 1/8000th of a second. If you switch to the electronic shutter, that's the same, 1/8000th. But with the R7, that jumps by one stop to 1/16000th of a second. Again, that is lightning fast with the R7. You guys who are interested in using flash with those cameras as well, again, you get a speed advantage with the R7. With the R6, you're working at 1/200th of a second on the mechanical, 1/250th of a second on the electronic shutter. On the R7, you can get 1/250th on the mechanical shutter and 1/320th on the electronic shutter. So a little bit quicker for you guys looking to shoot with your speed lights as well. Now the R7 apparently also has this little feature where you can actually get your first frame off within 0.5 seconds of you starting to press the button. So you're almost taking a photo before you have taken a photo. I mean, you cannot get much quicker than that. That is a really cool feature of the Canon R7, and definitely a reason why people might look at that over the R6. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is the actual design of the camera. Now, one of the big advantages of the mirrorless cameras is that they are smaller and lightweight. And I have to say, that's something I've really enjoyed, especially where I'm using an R6 with a 1DX. I'm really noticing the weight difference. The fact it's smaller, lighter, especially when I'm out and about doing events where I'm carrying it around on my camera straps, really enjoying that. Well, you know what? The R7 is even smaller again. It's funny because it feels like we probably went through a time where everyone wanted the bigger and badder cameras and, you know, the Pro 1D series bodies with the grip already on there. But actually, you know what? I myself, and I think a lot of others, are now almost going backwards and enjoying the smaller cameras. And although it's not a massive difference, the R7 is a little bit smaller than the R6 and it's a little bit lighter as well. The R6 comes in at 680 grams, whereas the R7 comes in at 612. Now that is a bit of a difference, and you know what? Those 68 grams, if you're carrying that camera around all day on your camera strap, I tell you what, 68 grams can make a difference at the end of the day. Okay, from there we move into the big controversial topic with the R5 and R6, the overheating. Now you know what, I've got opinions on this with the R6 and I've made other videos about it. Go check those out on the channel after this one if you'd like to. But my view generally is actually, unless you're really working hard, the R6 is not really going to overheat. In all the videos I make, all of my YouTube videos, all of my out and about videos, I've never had an issue with it overheating. But nonetheless, there are issues sometimes. And of course, the R6 bigger brother, the R5, has substantial overheating issues. Again, some people would argue that one, but nonetheless, there is some overheating that you get with the R5 and R6. Well, with the R7, it seems as though that is much less of a problem. Now, I don't have an R7, I haven't tested that, but there are people out there who have. I was reading an article on mirrorlesscomparison.com where the guy there had been testing the R6 and R7 video, and he found that his R6 did overheat after he was filming, I think it was a 25-minute clip. He then did the same comparison with the R7 and didn't get any overheating issues at all. So you guys who are video shooters, again, that could be a reason why you're leaning towards that R7. Okay, next up we're talking battery life. Now the R6, R7 both share the same battery. That is the LP E6NH battery. I would show you one of those, but it is in my R6 over there, and my spare ones. You know what, you don't need to see a battery. Trust me, it's the same one in the R6 as it is the R7. But you know what, that same battery can go further for you in the R7. Now, the battery life of the R6 is rated as being able to shoot 380 shots if you're using the electronic viewfinder and 510 shots using the LCD. Now, I always find these numbers are a bit vague, and actually, I normally find that my use of the camera overachieves those numbers that generally are quoted. I guess that's probably because you rarely will stand and shoot 500 images in a row. You'll be on and off, the camera will go to sleep sometimes in between, you might even turn it off for little gaps, and so normally your battery life does better than that, but the R7 is rated higher. The R7 is rated as being able to do 500 shots on the electronic viewfinder and 770 shots using the LCD. So you do get that extra battery life with the R7 over the R6. And the last main thing to talk about, the biggest reason why I think a lot of people would look at the R7 over the R6 is the price point. The biggest thing here is that these two cameras are not that far apart performance-wise, and yet there is quite a substantial price difference. The R6 is priced at about, right now, £2,400, or about $2,500, whereas the R7 is going to be priced at about £1,300 or $1,500. Now that is quite a substantial difference in price. And it has to be said, that is an awesome price. A $1,500 camera for a camera that has got pretty much professional specs. That really is a fantastic price. And that's why I really believe the R7 is going to be a hugely successful camera for Canon. I think they're going to be selling loads. All of those amateur sports photographers, a good chunk of some professional photographers, wildlife photographers, the birding photography community, which we know is huge. I think the Canon R7 will be a hugely successful camera for Canon, just like the 7D Mark II was. So, in conclusion, am I personally buying the R7 to replace the R6? No, I'm not. I'm buying it to work alongside the R6. But do I think there are people out there who might well choose the R7 over the R6? Yes, I do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you disagree with me, which I know half of you are going to, no worries. Let me know in the comments below. I'm always really interested to hear it. If you think I'm completely wrong and that this camera is going to absolutely flop, you know what? Let me know that in the comments below as well. In the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.